Python web frameworks. Let's talk about some popular web frameworks of Python. These are full-stack frameworks like Django, Web2Py, and Tornado, and non-full-stack frameworks like Bottle, Flask, and Pyramid. A web framework is a collection of packages or modules that help developers write web applications and services. It takes care of the low-level details like protocol, socket, and thread management. A framework takes care of interpreting requests, getting form parameters, handling cookies and sessions, producing responses, presenting data as HTML or in a different format, and storing data persistently. Let's start with full-stack frameworks first. Frameworks that have functionality from the client side and server side along with the databases. Django believes in automating stuff. It lets you build better web apps in less time and code. It also believes in the DRY principle. Don't repeat yourself. It has many facilities like templating, automatic database generation, DB access layers, and automatic admin interface generation. Django powers big names like Instagram, Pinterest, Disqus, and Mozilla. TurboGears is an MVC framework with object relational mapping and multi-database support. It lets you create database-driven websites and also supports horizontal data partitioning. It is a micro framework and a full-stack solution. Web2Py lets us develop, deploy, debug, and test and administer the database. It does not have configuration files and uses the MVC built-in ticketing system to manage errors. Cubic Web is a semantic web application framework featuring a query language and a selection plus view mechanism. It supports multiple databases, security, workflows, and reusable components. Django Hot Sauce is a general-purpose web toolkit. It is an interactive Pythonic API that lets us create scalable web applications using the WSGI 1.0 specification. Giotto is a strict MVC framework that strictly separates the model, view, and controller elements. It lets designers, web developers, and sysadmins work independently. It has controller modules that let us build applications on top of the web, and Grok is built on top of existing Zope 3 libraries. It has an easy learning curve and focuses on convention over configuration. It also follows the DRY philosophy. Pylons is a lightweight web framework. It is fast, flexible, and supports easy development. And Real helps develop web applications in pure Python. It lets us use, customize, and compose widgets in Python. Wheezy is a lightweight, high-performance, and high-concurrency web framework. It supports routing, model update or validation, authentication, authorization, and content caching with dependency. And Zope 2 is both a web framework and a general-purpose application server. It is famously used for content management systems. Tornado is a full-stack web framework and great with non-blocking I/O. It is also a good choice for tasks like long polling and WebSockets. Now some non-full-stack frameworks. Bottle is a simple and fast micro framework that lets you build small web applications. It supports request dispatching routes with URL parameter support, templates, and other things. CherryPy is a very Pythonic, object-oriented HTTP framework. It often acts as a way between the programmer and the problem. Also, it lets you launch multiple HTTP servers at once. Flask is a micro framework. It has a built-in development server and also has unit testing support. It is good for developing small, simple applications and is used by names like LinkedIn and Pinterest. Hug is one of the fastest web frameworks of Python. It lets you build APIs and also has several API versions, automatic API documentation, and annotation-powered validation. Pyramid is a framework for large applications. It is flexible and makes real-world web application development more fun. It is a Pylons project. Albatross is a small, flexible toolkit for developing stateful web applications, and Circuits is a very efficient web framework that lets us develop standalone multi-process applications. Falcon is a micro framework for small applications, app backends, and higher-level frameworks. It encourages to follow the concept of REST. It is one of the fastest frameworks of Python. And Growler handles requests by passing through a middleware chain. It is built on top of Async.io and is inspired by the Connect and Express frameworks for Node.js. We also have some other notable frameworks like MorePath, Picnic, and Scenic. MorePath is flexible and model-driven. Picnic is very fast and lets develop JSON APIs, and Scenic is like Flask but is fast and supports asynchronous request handlers and also makes code non-blocking and speedy. Different projects require different frameworks. Which will you choose?